Okay, everybody. Good morning. We're gonna have a good day, no matter what they say. Sun is shining down on us. I gotta have like that'll be my opening tune. All right. Let me get rid of this piece of gum. I learned yesterday. I just mentioned this to the guys. I never really heard myself before, and if you pay attention to yesterday's, if you listened to yesterday's and paid attention, you could tell I was chewing gum. Not a good thing. Come on, right? All right, here we go. We're going to be making two separate trips from the bakery today. So this is journey number one. We're a little bit early, maybe 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock. Friday morning, 5 o'clock. It is cold. This thing says 39 degrees. I think it's around 40, but yeah, it feels cold. That's like winter cold, you know? Like when you get into the 30s, that's about as cold as I ever want to have it. Oh, nobody's there. Nobody's there. Yeah, so I had a few comments about yesterday's video. I'm learning. And one of them was the gum chewing thing. I can't, apparently I can't chew gum and talk at the same time. It doesn't sound good. And you know, I had flashbacks to people in my life that have chewed gum that I mean, immediately, as soon as I heard myself doing it, I'm like, oh my God. Go. The tire that I was talking about yesterday is gone. Bob said that he saw people that were like cutting I guess those guys that come through and cut the grass along the highways must have picked it up yesterday. So my idea about painting it to look like a pumpkin, it's gone. Gone. The next 18-wheeler loses some tires. By then it'll be another holiday, so we'll need like more time. I'll need like a stack of like 18-wheelers plus a van plus maybe a mini, and then that way we can stack them up and look like a Christmas tree. Always thinking. Friday's traffic's always later on Friday. People go in the office. Got a pretty medium-sized load. Delivery. So that's pretty straightforward this morning. Ideas yesterday while I was watching. I didn't want it's a 2-hour trip. The video stayed on the whole time, so it was pretty cool. Heard a couple of things. So one thing I learned is when I stopped at two of the delivery locations yesterday, I had to call, right? Remember when I thought I was leaving the video on, and all my phone, I just kind of like swiped up to get the phone, and then I made the phone call real quick and came back. And it's sort of like skipped over that time. So it must pause the YouTube app when I do that. So that's good. I wonder if I can use that as a way to pause the video, because like today, I'm going to do 2 different videos. Like, well, video streams. Like, should I stop in between? Because I'm going to have this delivery. We're going to go back and forth, and then pick up some more donuts, and then I'm going to be going back to the second place. So if that's the case, I'm wondering if what I could do, like if I could swipe my phone out of the YouTube app for a second. It doesn't really close it, but it seems like it put it on pause. I'm not going to try it. I'll experiment with that. I'm going to do 2 streams today. I just decided. But I might test that out when I get home. We got an eager beaver. Watch this. Guy's going to fly by. Can't fly by because we're about to get this. I don't really have a whole lot of shifting stuff today. Everything is in that cabinet. I don't have anything outside the cabinet, so that's good. And one of the products is it's called a rainbow cake, and we've got 4 large rainbow cakes in that cabinet, but the little cardboard sort of plate that they sit on, they tape them down to the tray so they don't slide, which is good. That also means that I don't have to worry about it quite as much. I mean, I can't be doing NASCAR turns, if you know what I'm saying, but it's less to worry about. So I'm learning a little bit more about where the signal gets weak and where it doesn't. This is still new, but I haven't mastered that. But the reason it's important, well, 2 reasons. One is I sympathize because there are some sections where I know it's coming, and if that's the case, I don't know if I'm in one of those sections right now or not. So I'm speaking a little bit ahead of myself. But 2 reasons it's important. One is just the empathy I have for you, because I know that the video gets kind of crappy and was like that. But if you just kind of like battle through that, get to the other side, you'll be fine. And then, I a lot of that goes away. Well, not goes away, but the video definitely gets clearer when the sun comes up. Because I guess there's more. It's harder to stay focused on things when it's dark out. So that's one thing, just the annoyance of it. But the other is my talking, right? Like when the connection is bad, the audio also breaks up. So if I'm saying something, that could drive me crazy. So I'm going to try to figure that out. So at least for the most part, I won't be talking when the audio breaks up. And it's very likely that just happened while I was talking about it. It'd be ironic, wouldn't it? But yeah, so I'll try that. It made me think of, I used to listen, well I do, I listen to Sirius radio in my car all the time, and I was on a trip one time. I really, ever since this trip and when this happened, I found myself not listening to comedy channels, because now Sirius is pretty consistent now. It's reliable, much more than it was many years ago. You know, you had more what do you call it? Spots, dark spots to where we go out. So I was traveling somewhere, a little rural, maybe the Eastern Shore or something. I don't remember where I was, but I was listening to a comedy channel, and I mean, after this happening like 2 or 3 times, but it would drop the signal as soon as the person was getting ready to tell the punchline, and it was driving me crazy. I was like, oh my god, it happened again. So I do kind of avoid the comedy channels on Sirius. At least when I'm in my car, I do. Sirius XM radio. I started listening to XM radio when they were 2 separate companies. I actually had XM. It was just XM radio. And picture this. I mean, now everything's on your phone. But when that first came out, and I was all excited about it because that meant like when I went running in the morning or whatever, or on my bike or whatever, I could listen to radio. I could listen to whatever, you know, like. So I really was super excited about it, and I had, but at that point in time, you needed like an antenna. Like even in your house, you had to put, you know, like an antenna outside of the window or something to pick up the satellite. And I don't know if any of you ever saw this, but they sold, and I bought one, of course, because it was a thing at the time. It was a headphone, you know, went over your headset that you'd wear, and it kind of got wide and thick at the top because that was the antenna. And so, Lord only knows how we survived. I'm sure that wasn't good for your brain, but yeah, I used to run around with that headphone basically become an XM radio satellite antenna. Pretty quiet out here this morning. Skies are clear. Yeah, now it's 36 degrees. What? Winter, it frequently doesn't. It gets down to the 20s. That's like a super cold spell. So this is definitely pretty cold. Passing. Camp Federer. Another thing I'm thinking about doing, I don't know, I have all these thoughts. I think this would be a good idea. And I'm starting to think I'm really going to do this. Like, you know how originally a couple days ago I started like, hey, you know, let me see how this would work out. And I'm kind of liking it. So, you know, we'll see. But one thing I've looked, one thing YouTube has, it's really pretty amazing, is when you create a video like this, right? So I do the live stream, and then it takes a while to process. It can take hours actually to process. I don't know how. I see people who have a live stream and then you can go in right after it and watch it. Like, you know, I've mentioned this Scott Adams thing. if I don't, he starts at 10 o'clock. So if I don't pick him up at 10 o'clock, I can scroll back. Even if I get in the middle of this show, I can scroll back to the beginning. And maybe that's possible even with this. I don't know. I guess that's probably just the basic function. But after his show's over, like it's usually an hour, right? So it's 11 o'clock and he's done. If I go in at 12 o'clock, there's his video. It's on his site. You can click on it and watch it. Well, it takes, I mean, maybe his process, maybe because he's, he's actually got people that watch him. But for me, it's processing. When I open up YouTube, it usually says my live stream is processing 4 hours. I mean, like yesterday, it was like 12 hours. And so I don't go back and look at it until the evening. But especially the longer ones, right? I mean, yesterday's live stream was 2 hours long. But the whole thing worked. I was very happy about that. So I don't know if that was a fluke or if the other day when it dropped it was a fluke. But regardless, I was pretty happy yesterday. But and I don't think you can take the video and post it to you. Maybe you can. Maybe I can say public and that you can see it. Maybe that works. But it's not finished, right? So you don't have everything available, the tools. But one thing that YouTube does when you're inside their application and you're looking at your video and stuff, it records. I mean, obviously it's recording everything you're saying in the video, but you have a transcript of everything that was said. Everything. Every word. It's like it's typed out basically everything you've said. I mean, it's not all, organized paragraph sentences and all that stuff. And I would say the words pretty accurate. I was looking at it, and it's pretty accurate. But 95% where it's picking up the right words. So I was impressed. But one thing about that is I can take little clips out, because who's going to watch? I mean, I'm not even going to do that every day, right? I'm not going to go back and look at my 2-hour video and check out how it looked. I mean, yesterday I scanned through it, but I'm not going to relive 2 hours of my life every day. So the cool thing about the transcript is you can just scroll through that, search for a word, go right to the section you want to look at. Like yesterday, I had the situation where I had the car in front of, I was at that stop light, and the car made a left-hand turn right in front of a truck, and the truck, it wasn't that close, but it was close enough that the guy needed his corner. But, so I could I'm thinking, all right, what did I say when that happened? I think I said it wasn't an 18-wheeler, but I think I called it an 18-wheeler. So, but my point is, I jumped in and find things in the video very, very quickly by just remembering something I probably said or something like that. So, what I'm thinking is, nobody, maybe there'll be people that are watching every day or frequently or once in a while. Here we go, 6 miles, 6 minutes. We're on it. So maybe that'll be a thing. But aside from that, what I want to maybe do is if something interesting happens during my trip, I could pull little clips out and create a short version, with just the highlights from the day. So that's my idea. And to do that, what I would do is, I was thinking I should have a word that I say if it's something that I want to capture. Maybe capture. Boom. There we go. I think I just decided. So I'd have a word that I would like say clearly. You know, I don't want to make it a word that I think I'm going to do. I'm going to try capture. Capture. So people are going to think I have Tourette's or something. It's like all of a sudden, capture. But I think I'm going to do that, and then test out like making like a short little summary thing. Because even for the people that I work with, right? Like sometimes I'll talk about stuff that happened during the ride. I'm not going to expect people to go into my video, open it up. Now this is something I would do if I was a video. If I was watching this video, it is something I would do because I do it all the time. Like if I think somebody did something, said something in a podcast, I'll go online and like scroll through it to try to find that section. It's a pain in the butt, but I do it. But if I kind of like click those little pieces, I think more people would watch them. Nobody's going to sit down. I mean, somebody might jump in and watch some of the live while I'm driving, some of the live stuff. But anybody who wants to just kind of like catch up with what's going on, is Craycray still alive, that kind of thing, then yeah, just like a little summary shot would be good. Humming along here this morning. Yesterday or the day before, I was complimenting the concrete fixtures. Like these, you see the little highlighted spots on the road, maybe. I don't know how clear that is. But it seemed to be a little bit more pronounced today. Get a new phone eventually. I'm recording this. I've had the phone for years. This is a Samsung. I know all the Apple people are like, what? But it's Samsung, you know, whatever, Galaxy Ultra. I think I've got like an S21. I think it's the S21. So, probably due for a new phone. The camera's good. Oh, well, works. The rock just taking a shield. Hell! It's always kind of fun in the cold, facing weather too. people could wear that would flash like that if they were having a problem. They're like walking behind somebody. They start to get nervous for whatever reason. And all of a sudden their flashers go off. Oh my god. Kind of cool. You gotta put it on top of their head too. It's gotta be like, can't be under their hair. I really am okay, guys. I mean, now I'm laughing at myself. So. But you know, like, or you know, sometimes you can have problems with your feet. Your feet hurt. So you're walking along like in a store or something. You're gonna slow down because your feet hurt. Oh, you put on your flashes. Oh, I like that idea. I have to admit, I've always had these thoughts in my mind and occasionally talk to myself, but I guess actually saying it out loud, I didn't realize it would make me laugh out loud. It's funny. Green lights. These are good. This is good. 5:30. 5:30. Drop off. I think they usually expect me here between quarter after 5 and quarter of 6. So somewhere in there. That 30-minute span. Here we go. And look, I want you all to hold me to it. I'm going to use my blinkers all the time. I'm not going to miss one blinker opportunity because it's kind of neat to listen to it. Just kidding. Here we go. Oh, look, there's a white Prius. Never seen that before. If it's somebody that works here, though, you know what's weird about that? Like, usually people will park, like in the back or something. Like, normally you don't park where your customers are. Or your delivery people. All right. Here we go. Let me flip this. I like the flip the screen thing. I think that works out pretty good. Boom. Yeah. We're getting this down to a science. All right. First stop. Wants to roll away from me today. Stop it by the mirror, but it's trying to get right in the mirror. Okay. Drop these off. I'll be right back. Just talk amongst yourselves. Back. Here we go. Oh, you know what? I need that towel. This is over there. Oh, sorry. Okay. So as I was walking through there, there's a guy in there named Glenn. He's a very nice guy. Going on with him a little bit. Sorry for the delay. I learned something today too. All right, it's gonna sound stupid, but I'm not beyond admitting my stupidity. I think I like it with the. I was watching this yesterday. I think I like it with the logo in the bottom of the screen there. So at this deli, you need to tap on the window, right? Because obviously I don't have a key to these places. So hang on, let me focus. So you normally see people in there, and you tap on the window and then they come and open the door. And sometimes they're in the back and they don't hear you tapping on the window. And so it can take a while sometimes. But the worst case scenario, you have to call, but usually the times work. Well, over on one side of the, you're looking through the windows, and to the left is where the deli is. But the windows are not over there by that side. Well, today I find out that they look like they're not windows, but they really are windows. Like they've painted over them, I guess, because it's just a sign for the restaurant. So all this time I've been like thinking, I gotta really tap hard and then get decided to break a window. Like, hey, so I'm over there trying to. I wasn't. Usually they do eventually hear me, but I would tap once and I'm like, you didn't hear me, because the guy's over there like slicing corned beef or something. Corned beef is a big deal. Corned beef is their like big deal. So he's over there slicing corned beef, and some machines going. He's not good. He's not thinking, when is Craig going to get here? So today I've got a better location to tap if I see him back there. Sometimes he's not even there. One time I got there was nobody there. Dark. The guy pulls up. Driving up 140 to get back 795. So I don't drive down to the Beltway to go back up. It probably would be faster than doing it this way, but it just seems like you're could be going into a traffic situation. You can see how bad the traffic is. Actually be faster to do that. I wonder. It makes sense because it is faster coming down. So why would it be faster going back? At least this gives you a little change of scenery. I thought that was going to turn for us. Painters Mill Road. My first job was down here. Okay. So, on the left-hand side, I don't know if you can see it now, there's a Burger King. Let's see when we go by. And so before it was the Burger King, this was, when I'm saying before, this is like so before that it's like talking about dinosaurs. So before the Burger King, it was a long time ago. It was a Geno's, and which was a burger. They had burgers, Kentucky Fried Chicken. It was kind of, they didn't have their own restaurants at that point, so that was on the menu. But it was a really good burger shop. It was the type of burger. Initially, when I started working there, it was like a McDonald's type, the little flat burger type meat, and then we had the quarter pounder types and all that. But it was similar to the McDonald's menu for burgers and stuff, and fries and chicken and all that stuff. So I started working there at Geno's when I was 16 years old. Mainly because my mother told me, so I turned 16 And of course, I had to get my driver's license on my 16th birthday. Like, I couldn't wait. Actually, I really couldn't wait. That's a story for another day. But on my 16th birthday, I got my license. And my mother, which this was in 19. So this was in. I turned 16 in August of 1979. So, my mother had purchased a new car. She had when we were little. The car that I remember growing up was a 1968 Galaxy 500. She bought it new, and she drove it for 10 years. She had it until 1978. And she kept it. It was like a dark green color, huge car, very powerful, 8-cylinder, strong, powerful thing. And it was a good car. I loved it. It was a Ford Galaxy. So when I turned 16, she had her new car. She bought a Ford Fairmont, and which, believe it or not, like back in those days, that and there was Granada. Is that how they said it? I mean, I thought they were the coolest looking cars. Now you look back and they were like little boxes. I mean, it was a box, but at the time, it was. I thought it was the greatest looking car in the world. Crazy. That's crazy. But the Galaxy. So it was a big, huge car, and she wasn't driving it anymore. But it was in great shape. She didn't drive a lot, and she didn't work until the late 70s. It's another whole story. I'll tell that sometime. But there was a deer on the left there. You see it? He looked up as we went by, sort of like a little, little nod. I think he said, "Have a great day." So it's 1970. Oh, that one didn't have such a good day. Maybe he was looking up to say, "Hey, if you see Bob the deer, let me know." And there he was. So it's 1979, turned 16, and my mom says, "Okay, you can drive the car." At this point, she's got her new car, and the Galaxy was just in the driveway. And she's like, "You can drive that car, but you need to be able to pay the insurance and gas and all that stuff. Like, you can definitely use the car, but if you're going to do that, you're going to have to pay for your own insurance and stuff." I'm like, I'll do it. So by November, I guess I had some money saved up, because I did have some money that I'd saved from doing stuff. I'd cut grass and stuff like that. And I always saved a little bit of money, no matter what. So I had some money saved up, not a lot, but I had enough to get me from the end of August to November. Not on purpose. I don't know. I guess, I was in school, so I wasn't really like driving around much. And so I get the job at Gino's. And I totally loved it. I love working. I worked on the grill every weekend, Saturday, Sunday, evenings. And that's how I started my first job. I worked there for like 3 years. 3 or 4 years. I mean, I actually had worked up to the point where I would open the store. I was sort of like, I wasn't an assistant manager, but I was like a team lead kind of thing where I could do stuff like that. And I loved it. I really started at the grill. I was working there with ladies location as we were going through there. If you notice, we were going through Paintersville Road. Back in the 70s and 80s, that was an industrial park. I mean, there was Maryland Cup was there, and the Spice Company, and a lot of manufacturing. It was a busy spot. Lots of people. So 12 o'clock would come along, and there would be a huge rush. Like, we'd have 6 or 8 registers open, and the lines would be packed. Because right at 12 o'clock, we're going to go. No matter what happens here, we're going to go. I told you! It would be, the lines would be like 10, 15 people. It was crazy. It was crazy busy because they get off, the manufacturing sites like that, the shift workers, everybody would kind of like take their lunch break. Most of them would take it at the same time. So 12 o'clock, I think there'd be another mild run at like maybe 12:30, 1 o'clock. But there was definitely like all of a sudden. So, 11 o'clock, 11:30, we'd start getting ready, man. We'd have like everything packed up, ready to go. And like, right before 12 o'clock, we've got all this meat on the grill. It was exciting. I actually got into a program at school where I was working half a day. So I was going to school in the morning. I'd get off, and I was able to get down there in time for that rush. So I started working a lot of hours my senior year of school. But it was exciting. You want to hear something stupid? I've always been a little goofy, right? I know it's probably hard to imagine, but this is good, because I knew that wasn't for this trip. So I'd be in the back, and the lunch crowd would come in, and I swear I did this. I would, all these people would be out there, and it was a very, you'd have the line of registers, and behind them was the counter. The way they do it. Some places are like that, but they're kind of changing with the time. There was this, you were behind, the grill was behind this kind of like wall, and then there was the spot where you could see through it with the burgers and the fries and all that stuff. So I'd stand there bagging up fries, and all these people would be out there. I'd be yelling, hot fries! Hot fries! I can't believe I did shit like that. What I did. And then one of the managers, there's another thing. Hopefully we're going to a spot where you can't hear me anymore, because it's slightly embarrassing, but one of the managers that I worked with, her name was Carroll and again, chances are slim that Carol is watching this, but if you are, reach out, let me know, because she was my favorite manager. I mean, there were some good people there. Tom was the manager. I guess I don't remember exact titles, but Tom was the manager of the store when I started working there. Super nice guy. And then Carol, this is like, you realize this is so many years ago. And then Carol, but so in the evenings, when I was working a night shift, and Carol was working, you'd have to go out and clean up the whole dining room area. Big area. It was a big, very big dining room. Lots of tables. You'd have to mop the floor. Eventually we had a salad bar. Originally we didn't have a salad bar, but I remember creating this song that I would sing while I was cleaning up in the evening. Okay, here we go. Who's the leader of the team that's cleaning up the floor? Carolbelbecker. Carol Becker. Carol Becker. But I really didn't do it for that purpose. I did, I swear. Because I really liked her. But yeah, that was things I remember about that job. I'll have to look for a picture and post it on my channel. I think I have a picture of me wearing my Geno's uniform. I still have this shirt. I think I have two of them. It's like an orange color. And it might even still fit me. It's possible. And I have a hat. I don't like to mess with the hat too often because it's like one of those paper hats. It's priceless to me. Priceless. I should put it on a display and hang it on my wall. And I really thought, I was going to become like a manager and do that whole route. Because there's a whole chain of management. There's a lot of stuff you can do in a job like that. Remember the district managers would pop in every now and then. You had to have everything. You had to make sure everything was in good order. In the cabinet, where like one of the things, as an example, you'd have this cabinet, right? So you'd make 12 hamburgers. You put them in this heated cabinet. You'd wrap them up, put them in this heated cabinet, and they didn't just sit under lights. I think there are some places now where that's what they do. But it was like a little oven, but it kept them warm, and they stayed in pretty good shape. But I think they were good for 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I don't remember the exact amount of time. But you had these cards that you put on the tray when they would expire. So, the district manager would come in and make sure that all that stuff was in the right time, the right time frame. Now, most places now, you watch them making it while you're there, which I suppose is an improvement, but we had their volume was too high for that kind of thing. Fries. Nobody wants soggy fries, you know what I mean? But you might say to yourself, Craig, why? Why did you leave? Why did you go off and do something else? And there will be more stories in the future, so stay tuned. But I will say, I really so Geno's was purchased by the Marriott company. Marriott Hotels. Marriott. And not Marriott. Marriott's another thing. That was another part of my life, Marriott. But Marriott Hotels, which owned at the time Roy Rogers. And so they bought Geno's. And then Geno's changed most of their restaurants to Roy Rogers. And my experience with the Roy Rogers company wasn't a warm, fuzzy feeling. I mean, I did stay there for a short period of time. I think it was very short, actually. But, during the training, here's an example of something that just kind of threw me off. So during the training, I was already a team lead type person, so I'd be responsible for, the lunch rush would come in, and it was, I think at this point, one of my jobs, the memory that I have is that I was in the position where I was kind of managing the 7 or 8 cash registers, people that were working the registers, and kind of like getting change for them if they needed to change or whatever. Making sure everything was going through it, working on issues if customers were upset, that kind of thing. So I remember working up there, and somebody, one of my coworkers said, "Hey Craig, can you give me a roll of quarters or whatever?" I don't know what it was, but that kind of thing. And I'm like, oh, okay. So the Roy Rogers person that was training there to sort of make sure the transition was going well took me to this, kind of called me over to the side and said, employees should be calling you Mr. Bathroom. They should be calling you by your last name, Mr. blah blah blah. And I'm like, what? Like I've been working with these people for like forever, and I'm just not like, Mr. And if anything, I'm Mr. Craig. Like my neighbors, I've had neighbors move in, and when they moved in, the kids were kind of little, and they would always call me Mr. Craig. I'm okay with that. I don't want people calling me Mr. Craig. So I was like, no. Like, no, you need to do that. And I'm like, so it was stuff like that. They just had a very different culture. It's a very different culture. I think it was the first time I learned that companies have distinct cultures. And if you don't fit in the culture, you really should find a place where you do fit. And it's not your fault if you don't fit the culture. Some places are just different. And it was a very, very good learning experience. It's sad at the time because I liked the people I was working with and all, but most of the original Geno's people didn't stick around too long. A couple of them did, but I took some time off, and then because I think I quit like in the winter, right at the beginning of the winter. And of course, at that point, I'm like 19, 20 years old. I was still living at home. Still living at home. And swinging that 18-wheeler. Hey, let's do a wheel check. Wheel check. See if he's got all 18. Oh, so I think I was like, I worked, I did some stuff around the house. I remember working, like painting, like in the house. So I got like things, I was working on stuff, kind of hanging out with my mom, working on stuff around the house. And then in February or March, we just passed a lot of gear parts, let's put it that way. So then that's when my next job, which I will not talk about now, but I'll make a story of that later. I went down to Ocean City, Maryland, and I drove the trains on the boardwalk. And that was, I gotta admit, like out of fun jobs, this one's fun, but driving the train, the boardwalk at Ocean City, it's kind of hard to top that. It really is. Like, I remember even thinking, a lot of people think, like, they think, I'll go down to the beach and be a lifeguard. I think that sounds cool. But lifeguards are stuck in that little chair all day long unless they have to save somebody, and that's like a high stress. I guess you get tan, and you got to be in shape. Back in those days, you wore Speedo, so all that stuff was good. But Oklahoma, this guy's from Oklahoma. Oh, Oklahoma. watching people driving 18-wheelers. I don't know how they do it. It's crazy. But yeah, lifeguarding, it doesn't, I love driving the train. You're like up and down the boardwalk, tons of people, seeing all kinds of sights. Ooh, why are they solid? Oh, solid. There we go. Just stay there. Just stay there. Hold on, guys. Usually I just circle right around, but I'm headed like I'm done for the day. I'm not done. All right, so I think I'm going to stop this one, and then I'll pick up another stream when I get reloaded, because this takes a couple minutes. I got to fill out a form and stuff. Talk to you later. Bye-bye now.